Um, anyway, this morning I stayed home from work. I finally got an appointment to go in and have this sciatica slash piriformis issue looked at Thursday after work, if I still have a job, and take care of it. I thought I felt pretty good yesterday. Yesterday was my birthday, and I don't know how the hell I've made it this far, but I did, because a lot of the best thing to do when you have a sciatica is to go out and move. So I did do a hike in an easy, almost flat trail in Jacksonville, and it took me, usually it takes me about 20-25 minutes to go one way, and this time it took me 50 minutes to get over to the turnaround point. And then, but by that time my leg was pretty good, and I was able to get back in almost the usual amount of time. But later on my leg really started bothering me, because you get on that not asphalt but concrete, and it just aggravated it, and I was just in agony last night. So finally, hopefully that's going to be the end of it. Hopefully I can take some painkillers or muscle relaxers or something to get over that. Yeah, yesterday was the Iowa caucuses, and it's no surprise that Donald Trump easily defeated his rivals, which get fewer and fewer by the day. Old Vivek Ramaswamy dropped out. So now there's only three. There's him, there's DeSantis, and there's Haley. And DeSantis actually came in second. But neither of those two, DeSantis and Haley, will be the nominee. It'll be Donald Trump. And I wish people on the left, or whatever you want to call them, Democrats or whatever, quit wishing that Trump not make the ballot. That isn't going to happen anyway. He's going to be on the ballot. And it's always been that if it's a current president or a former president, they automatically, and to come to think of it, it's true with vice presidents or former vice presidents, that they're always nominated. So, you know, this guy, nothing's going to happen to him in the foreseeable future. So, unless he croaks, and even if he croaks, his son will take his place. But he's going to be the nominee. So people need to shut up about it. And Biden should get reelected if and when that happens. But anyway, a lot of what was on my mind was this new documentary, or recent documentary, called The Disappearance of Shere Hite. And I have to say, I rented it last night on YouTube. I'm going to purchase the download, so I have it. But it was a really good documentary. And most of it was in her own words. They had somebody read it, of course. And they did a pretty good imitation of her. Or she, I should say, not a they. She. And it is quite a story, because she was a woman who was quite accomplished, but she was a starving student back in the day and had gone to Columbia for her PhD, but she had to drop that. And she had done modeling to try to make ends meet. She'd even done some layouts for Playboy, which came back to haunt her, thanks to these assholes that tried to silence her. But she was a second wave feminist, and she came along just at that time when it was becoming the topic of conversation. And she had done modeling for an outfit called Olivetti Typewriters, and that damn thing was a terribly sexist ad, and it dawned on her that it was a sexist ad, and she had joined a protest, or there was a protest out there, that a feminist protest, and she decided to join it, and they made note that she had been a model in one of these sexist ads. And from there, she was an ardent feminist, you know, the best kind. But damn it to hell, she hadn't, like a lot of them, second waivers, hadn't counted on the backlash, tremendous backlash. And of course, Shere Hite is known as a researcher for sex researcher, you might say. She put out thousands and thousands and thousands of questionnaires to women all over the country, and got a lot of response. And you got to remember, different era, even with the sexual revolution, women weren't terribly comfortable even talking about their sex lives. But she compiled these responses into a book called the Hite Report, which I have a copy of. I've never gotten around to reading it, and I've read damn near every second wave feminist work ever written. But this one I didn't, I guess because the topic didn't particularly interest me, you know, and stuff. Maybe to me it was too much information. But she had a firestorm of controversy because she dared to give women a voice about what it was really like, what sex was really like. And remember, a lot of the respondents were middle-aged and older. These women are now deceased. The Hite Report came out in 1976, and I was 21 years old. Shere Hite was in the media all the time. She made a lot of money at it with that book. And then following that book, she did another book of, this time she gave questionnaires to men, and it was called the Hite Report on, you know, on the Hite Report regarding, I don't know what the hell it was, male sexuality or whatever it was called. Anyway, and that was a bestseller, but there was a lot, even though, as the documentary shows, and what her friends, her male friends had noticed, was that a lot of what the men said, you know, is true. Is true, that they couldn't talk about it. It's all the same stuff, you know, that they had trouble dealing with certain things. It wasn't just about sex, it was about all kinds of stuff. But a lot of men got real upset because they, in the media and other places, because they don't like that much self-reflection. See, it requires a high level of self-reflection to even participate in an anonymous questionnaire. And then all of a sudden, there was all this hoo-ha about her methods and how she gathered data. You could bet your ass they didn't do that with men that did the same thing. Male researchers. This was totally sexist. It was totally obvious that they were trying to silence her. And it got so bad that she finally, she'd gotten married to some German pianist that was like, pianist, who was like 19 years her junior, and she left the country for good. She went to Germany. She wrote a few more books. But, you know, the heyday was done. And later, she lived kind of in various places in Europe. And then she passed away in 2020. She had some kind of rare form of dementia. And people had forgotten about her because she disappeared. She left the country. She was afraid for her safety, you know, worried about privacy, worried about being stalked, all this kind of stuff. And it's all documented in that documentary. And it's kind of, you know, if you don't toe the line as a woman, expect pushback. And we see this now with this gender identity crap. But this is worse. This was much worse. It was longer, more sustained. She didn't back down. She never changed. She never apologized for anything that she wrote. But there was a price to pay when you dare challenge patriarchy. So I recommend that movie. I really recommend it. It's a good movie, and mostly it's told in her words. And then there are people that also, from their perspective, who knew her and had worked with her and stuff. So anyway, that's about all I'm going to say today. I'm going to try to recover from this stinking sciatic pain. I'm sick of it. I'm absolutely sick of it. So that's it.